And we're coming to you live for the Build Forward Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason and Gregg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And wherever you are in the free Odyssey app. Good Thursday morning. A feel-good football Thursday as all signs indicate that John Harbaugh is the next head coach of the New York Giants. Everything done but pen to paper is what Art Stapleton has said. Adam Schefter is on it. Jordan Renan is on it. Barring some sort of unbelievable setback, John Harbaugh will be here coaching the New York Giants in 2026. It's what we wanted. It's what we were begging for. It's what we were hoping for. And I feel great for Giants fans today because they got their guy, and this could be the franchise-shifting move that puts them back in the championship conversation. I believe that it does. This is going to be a fun one today. It's everything that every Giant fan wanted, and it happened last night. They went all in to get their guy, and it looks like they did. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, G. And I would say, yes, I agree with you 100%. This is exactly what we were talking about last week. Before we thought maybe Stephen Ross would jump in and go grab John Harbaugh and just give him whatever he wanted down there in Miami when they let go of Mike McDaniel. We were like, what? That caught us all off guard. But initially, it was like the best fit was Kevin Stefanski. After Kevin Stefanski, then all of a sudden, John Harbaugh was let go by Steve Bisciotti down in Baltimore, and he is the number one guy for the New York Giants. I hope this happens for the Giant fans. I hope it happens for John Harbaugh, and I hope it happens for the Giants and John Mara. I really do. I mean, if you want relevancy, you want legitimacy, you want excitement back into your team, Jaxson Dart has brought that. There's no question about that. But that's on the field. You need somebody to make sure they're running the ship and they are in control of the ship. And the other good thing that came out of all of this, which is something that it didn't shock me, is that, Joe Schoen is not in any way, shape, or form inhibiting this. Maybe it's amplifying, maybe it's helping, because it seems like Joe Schoen and by the way, Brian Daboll, Eli Manning, Tom Coughlin, Jaxson Dart, all these people have spoken with John Harbaugh to tell John Harbaugh just how great a job this is. And unfortunately, over the last 10 years, they went to the playoffs once, that we've been here, and it's not been great. And it's all due in large part to the quarterback situation and Daniel Jones not being able to stay healthy. So now I think this is a like I said, an inflection point, a turning the page point for the Giants. And I mean, I would think the momentum going into the 2026 season is going to be off the charts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is season tickets. This is everybody excited. All of a sudden, the feeling around the team does a complete 180. If they had lost out on John Harbaugh, we would have found a way to be excited about whoever the next guy was, if it was Kevin Stefanski. But the entire fan base would have been disappointed. Of course, John Harbaugh has his flaws, has his faults. He doesn't have a perfect resume. But when you talk about what this franchise has been, this is the exact thing we were asking for, but with the Jets last year before they hired Aaron Glenn to get a CEO type, someone who's done it before, and that type of guy was not going to go and coach the Jets. And this is why the history of the New York Giants means something, and the time that these guys are available. And sometimes it is luck. Sometimes it is timing. And this was the perfect time for the Giant job to be open. John Harbaugh and the Ravens had to part ways. It had gotten stale, Lamar Jackson and him, and now they're coming together. And I was concerned. I was a little bit concerned that Tennessee or the Atlanta Falcons would present something to John Harbaugh that sounded better than what the Giants had, because the Giants have been down for so long. But they pulled out all the stops, and everything they could do yesterday, they did to get the guy. And that means that John Harbaugh looks at the Giants as that premier job that it should be. And now they have the quarterback. They have the coach.
Well, they haven't signed anything yet, so let's just...
No, he's the coach. Come on.
Right, okay. I just want to make sure that the contracts are signed. That's all.
What's going to happen? He's not Josh McDaniels. He's not going to go and then bail and go back to New England.
Look, I'm really excited, but I'll get really, really excited once that contract is signed.
It's done.
You know what that tells me?
It's done.
If he signs this contract, what that tells me is that the Giants, not only have they gone all out for him and whatever they're going to pay him, But that means he is convinced that they're going to support whatever he feels like he needs in order to win here. Like, they're not doing this on the cheap. They're doing this much like the Mets did with David Stearns. Now, when David Stearns got hired, every Met fan was just, goo-goo for gaga over him. And look at what he's going through right now. And I that's not going to happen to the Giants because this is not a GM. This is a coach, and he's going to bring in the best coaches he possibly can bring in. And I would think that he's got to be pretty excited, especially if he meets with the quarterback. The quarterback sits down with him, talks to him, and gives him a sense of, I think, at ease that he is going to be the guy that's going to be leading the team on the field. So, I mean, everything points to, like, the perfect marriage, the perfect situation. And now, finally, the Giants maybe, just maybe, have gotten out of this abyss where they have been stuck in reverse, actually. And they finally hired the guy that hopefully will be here for at least the next 8 to 10 years, and then he can walk off and retire, kind of like Tom Coughlin, maybe with 2 Super Bowls. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, Tom Coughlin wanted to coach more, but, of course, he had the 2 Super Bowls, and his legacy here is cemented forever, and that's exactly what John Harbaugh wants to do, and that's what the Giants expect him to do. And we had talked so much about worst to first and what happened in Chicago and what happened in New England, and before John Harbaugh was available, we said, who are those guys that could coach the Giants, that could do what Ben Johnson did and what Mike Vrabel did? And we couldn't come up with those names.
And Liam Cohen, don't forget him.
But, we're talking about the guy who was drafted, the head coach that was fired.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The next year.
Okay.
And how you had the number and teams that have won championships and are legacy franchises, and the Patriots are now too. So who was that guy going to be? And then John Harbaugh becomes available, and now I'm not just hoping, I expect the Giants now to do what those 2 teams did. Maybe not get all the way to the divisional round, but to make the playoffs, to not be in the basement and be in the conversation all the way till the end of the season and play a playoff game. That's how quickly it can turn around when you have the right guy at head coach and the right guy at quarterback. And as we sit here today, I don't think anybody's arguing that they don't have those 2 guys. They do.
You have to remember, so what he brings with him is just structure. It's total internal structure is what he brings with him. This is not a rookie head coach like Aaron Glenn trying to, change an entire franchise. I mean, what he will do, what John Harbaugh will do, will bring in his scheduling. The way that he wants to lay things out, the way that he wants to run practice, the way that he wants to travel, some of the stuff that goes on inside the building. I mean, that stuff, you're paying for that because what that is, that's leadership. And, it's hard to find it with a young guy. Like, you just don't know if one of these coordinators carry that kind of cachet and that kind of experience. And, he's a young, 61, 62?
He's 63, I think.
63. But he's a young 63. Like, he looks like he's got great vitality, and he can go on, and he's going to – if Darius Slayton is right and John Harbaugh heard that, and Chris Mara and the Mara family and the Tisch family and Joe Schoen and everybody over there is talking to John Harbaugh about this is what we need in the locker room, he'll come in reinvigorated as a head coach.
And what you're referring to is Darius Slayton saying after the season that they needed a Tom Coughlin type to come in and settle things down and be that type of leader, and that's exactly what John Harbaugh does. I mean, all of these coaches.
Didn't they say that after the Shermer experiment?
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, and think about all these guys that have come in here.
That was Joe Judge. Joe Judge was supposed to be that guy.
Yeah, Joe Judge was supposed to be that guy. Brian Dable was supposed to be that guy. Pat Shermer was supposed to be that guy. Ben McAdoo was supposed to be. All of these guys were supposed to come in and be the next great Giants head coach, and we had hope for every single one of them. This is different, though. This is different, and he is a football lifer. He is a Super Bowl champion. He's got an insane regular season record when it comes to wins and losses, obviously. He's got a winning record in the postseason.
But here's the other thing.
I mean, you can't do any better.
Here's the other thing about the Ravens. The Ravens, when he was there as their head coach, and this was a big thing with him, and I hope it becomes a big thing with the Giants because this is going to be part of the culture turnaround here and the expectations. You remember, they win every preseason game.
Oh, yeah.
They win. Like, he wants to win. That's all that matters. For as a head coach, he's not trying to protect anybody. He's trying to beat it into the heads of the players that he is coaching that we are winning. And I know it's a small little part of, his legacy down in Baltimore, but their preseason record under him was like ridiculous. Like he was expecting everybody on that roster to play and to win.
Yeah, I mean, and that says a lot because there's a lot of those guys that play in those preseason games that don't end up on the final roster, and he's got those guys playing their asses off and wanting to win and not just about themselves and everything else. I mean, this is...
Well, yeah. I will say this, that when you went to the Ravens and he was there as the coach, it was the Raven way. This is the way we're doing it. We've won Super Bowls here. We've had great players here. We've had Hall of Fame players here, and this is the way we're doing it. And if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. Now, he has to somehow recreate that with the Giants because the Giants have Super Bowls in their history. They have Hall of Fame players in their history. They have great alumni that are still living in the area. I mean, that's what the Ravens were always. That's why you always saw, Shannon Sharp and Ray Lewis and Jonathan Ogden. All those guys were at these games because the Ravens, believed in their history and the fabric of what their organization was all about. I think the Giants do too. I think they take care of a lot of their ex-players. I'm not saying that they don't, but I think that's going to be even more amplified now, especially the great players, the Hall of Fame players. And John Harbaugh is going to use them, I would think, to rebuild the structure, the culture of the present young team and say, hey, listen, this is who we are, this is what we're about, and this is how we're going to play.
Yeah, and the Ravens' history, a lot of it is John Harbaugh himself. I mean, the New York Giants have been around forever. They've got Hall of Famers. They've got legendary names, just immortal names surrounding this franchise. If you think about it, yeah, Brian Billick did win that Super Bowl with the Ravens back in 2000, one of those great defenses, but I mean, John Harbaugh built most of the Ravens' legacy. He won that next Super Bowl and coached all of these guys. I mean, he won a Super Bowl against his brother with Joe Flacco. I mean, he had Lamar Jackson, 2 MVPs. He did coach Ray Lewis at the end of his career. I mean, John Harbaugh is as big to Ravens history as anybody else is since they moved over from Cleveland.
I feel like they're hiring the greatest. Well, at least at the moment. At the moment, they're hiring the best curator they possibly could for the greatest museum in the world.
Yeah.
And he's got to come in and he's got to lead that, and he's got to restore the pride and fabric of the football organization, which he will. And I think Joe Schoen is going to be excited about this. I think everybody over in that building's got to be really excited about this. When he puts ink to paper, it is going to be a huge celebration. But then the real work starts, and that's where now he's got to go out and hire a staff, put a group together, and it sounds like the Giants are going to be supporting all of that, which is really important for a lot of these coaches. They want to know what they can spend on their coaching staff, how many coaches they can bring in, who are they targeting as offensive and defensive coordinators, how are they going to work with the personality that is Jaxson Dart. A lot of this stuff is personality-driven, so it's important that they get the right quarterback coach in here, the right offensive coordinator in here, and get the most out of that young man because he is going to be the key to their future.
Yeah, and that's one thing that is very, very important about John Harbaugh is, who will be the coordinators because he is the head coach, which is what we want. We want that guy to be the CEO, head coach, and buck stops here.
And make decisions in the game, time decisions. Go for it on fourth down. Don't go for it on fourth down. Punt, kick the field goal, take the points. All the things that we see. Throw the red flag when you need to throw the red flag. Have a good line of communication with your coordinators, with your players. I don't know. You can't lose with this signing. And I don't necessarily know that I've been this excited about somebody signing with a team that so desperately needed the credibility at that head coaching position.
Yeah, the head coaching position, sure, but I remember being this excited about Aaron Rodgers coming to the Jets before everything happened.
He got hurt.
No, but I know, but what I'm not saying. See, this is my point being. I'm not saying that that's going to work out negatively. My point being is that was like Aaron Rodgers seemed like the perfect fit for the Jets. I was really fired up about that. I'm really fired up about this as well. I expect this to work. I expected the Aaron Rodgers thing to work, but yeah, I mean this is as big as you could possibly have. And he canceled the meeting with the Tennessee Titans. I just saw Diana Rossini say that last night. So everything's trending in this direction. All he has to do is sign the paperwork, and the Giants knew they had to do it and got it done. I mean that's the pride of the fan base is going to be restored with stuff like that. Chris Mara, John Mara, Joe Schoen, everybody in that organization, Steve Tisch, everybody knew they could not let him go. And they used every single trick in the book, or not trick, but reason to become the Giants head coach. And I'm so happy that it worked for them, because if it didn't, I mean, that would have been a major, major hit to the New York Giants. And I'm sure, John Mara and where he is right now with his health, probably told John Harbaugh, like, this, I want this desperately right now. I need you to be the head coach of this franchise. And I'm sure that hit home with him as well. So this is great.
I just give a lot of credit to Brian Daboll for being as positive as he has been and eloquent about the Giant coaching job, and whatever went wrong with him, it happened, and these guys tend to move on, and they have a pretty thick lizard skin, and you would think that if there was somebody that would have an axe to grind, it would have been him.
Yeah.
But he didn't have an axe to grind. He said nothing but great things about this job. He said nothing but great things about Joe Schoen as well.
Well, and also a lot of credit to Joe Schoen, because, one of the things we were talking about is Joe Schoen, if he's a big part of this hire, is he going to want somebody like John Harbaugh to be a bigger person in the building than him? And he knew that John Harbaugh being the Giants head coach is the best job security for him, because the team's going to win. And if the team is winning and John Harbaugh has a say in the roster as well, Joe Schoen, if you're working with him and things are going well, is going to stay there as long as John Harbaugh is going to stay there.
But also, you remember I was telling you that John Harbaugh is not the kind of guy that's going to come in and start screaming and yelling and get the GM out. That's, Bill Belichick would have done that.
Sure.
Bill Belichick said, okay, I'll come up, I'll take the coaching job, but I need the front office as well. And John Harbaugh is not that way. John Harbaugh can get along with people and has got along with people, got along with that front office down in Baltimore, and that front office in Baltimore is staying together.
Yeah.
So, he recognizes that the best part of being a part of a team, whether it be on the field or in the front office, is everybody pulling in the same direction. And it sounds like Joe Schoen is all about that. I know a lot of people wanted him gone, but he has seemed to have survived, and he survived. And he also looks like he's a big part of luring John Harbaugh here.
Yeah, and the attitude with the Giants is back. It started to come back last year with Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterbo, and, of course, Brian Burns. But now you've got the attitude with the head coach and the quarterback together. I mean, these guys, they want to win. They've got an edge. They've got something to prove. I mean, this is not, and Daniel Jones got hurt a lot, but Jaxson Dart and his personality here, coupled with a Super Bowl winning head coach, you can't, and we don't know how it's going to work out, but you can't ask or hope or pray or whatever for a better situation than what the Giants are going to be going into next year. A promising young quarterback on a rookie contract, and one of the most sought-after head coaches that we have seen available in a number of years.
It's always good in the offseason. It's always great in the offseason. Yeah, this is a home run or a touchdown, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing, man. Do I have a $50 million gamble for you?
Oh, really?
I do. I'm going to tell you about it on the other side of the break.
Ooh, look at that.
All right?
Man,
and we'll get Jerry involved in this.
Tease Boomer. Who knew? You had it in you. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.